Hello, everyone. Welcome or welcome back to Dirty Martini. I hope you're having an amazing day. This episode will be a bit different than the ones we've had before, and I will tell you why. This week, I have no plan, no particular topic, or no specific story to tell. I just want to catch up with you. Some crazy things have been going on in the last 1 month, honestly, even in the last 1 week, and I just want to share them with you. It is currently raining cats and dogs outside, so let's get yapping. Why is everyone around me and their mom either getting married or getting pregnant? Did I miss the memo? No, but like for real. I swear, everyone around me is in a long-term relationship, very much committed to their partner, planning a future with them, basing their life decisions like where they're going to live on that relationship. You know, making these life-changing decisions. And I'm here fighting demons trying to figure out if I want to eat pasta or rice for dinner. And I end up having neither because I'm too lazy to actually cook, so I just snack on tortilla wraps and cheese without even making an actual tortilla. I'm out here eating a plain unheated tortilla wrap and a block of cheese. How are people my age having children and raising them? Girl, I can barely take care of myself. And in this economy? Today, I was so happy because the fabric softener I use was discounted from €6 to 3, and I still debated if I could afford it and if I should buy it. How can you afford to actually support a whole another being besides yourself? I know everyone is going at their own pace, but damn, can this place stop? Or if not stop, at least slow down? Like, when did the transition from my crush looked at me to I want to have a family with this person happen? When did the people I used to play dolls with turn into actual parents? And I think it's hitting me particularly bad because those are people I've been children with. If they were strangers, I genuinely couldn't care less. But those are people who I shared my childhood with. And they're out there having children of their own. The other day, my mom called me to tell me that this girl I went to kindergarten with gave birth. And she isn't the first one who I grew up with who's already a parent or married or whatever. I am 22, and if I got pregnant right now, knock on wood, I would still consider it a teenage pregnancy. It is so crazy to me that my generation is the new adults. This reminds me of a conversation I had with my friends a few weeks ago. All my celebrity crushes, for the first time in my life, are age appropriate. That just feels wrong. People who are successful, people who have their life together, should be much older than me so that I don't feel inferior. I don't make the rules. I know this signals to much deeper issues, but let's not go there right now. I can only handle one spiraling session at a time, please. But for real, when did we become adults? In my head, I am still 17, and I blame the pandemic for it. Because COVID started when I was 17, and life just never went fully back to normal, even though we're like in post-pandemic times. My perception of time because of the pandemic got so blurry, and I cannot tell you if something happened last week or 3 years ago. Just the other day, I was listening to a podcast, And the girl was telling a story of how she was 25 in 2015. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that she's 30 now. Yeah, because she isn't. The woman is fully 34. And that is not me just being bad at math, which I've noticed has been the case recently. So I want to go back to studying math because I feel terrible, but that's not the problem here now. What do you mean 2015 wasn't 5 years ago? What do you mean 2015 was almost a decade ago? What do you mean I am closer to being 30 than to being 13? I didn't sign up for this. Where did all those years go? Who gave you the permission to make me an adult? Abort mission? Right now, at this very moment. Stop. When I was back home, I was talking to one of my closest friends, someone I've known for 15 years now, which in itself is difficult to come to terms with. Like the fact that I can use the phrase 15 years ago and that I can have memories from 15 years ago. You know what I mean. Anyways, so she tells me how she's moving in with her boyfriend of a few years and they're planning a future together. I honestly thought she was joking. I didn't know how to react. Or when my other friend, who I actually hadn't been in touch with for a few years, and we just saw each other on the street, and she was just like, yeah, I broke off an engagement and I want to have a child in the next 1 to 2 years. Hello? We literally played Ludo over Skype the other day. What do you mean you broke off an engagement and want to have a child in a year or two? And honestly, before anyone says anything, this is not me judging. I'm just fascinated by how we can be at the same age and at such different stages of our lives. This, honestly, is not making me feel like I'm behind in life. I just have such different priorities in life right now that having a family, buying a house is just unthinkable. Well, again, in this economy, I don't even know if buying a house will ever be on the table, but again, a different topic for a different time. Having children and being married is something which is so alien to me at this stage in life. And I keep forgetting that just because it's something I don't even think of doesn't mean it's the same for everyone else. Just because this is something in the distant future for me doesn't mean it's not someone's present reality. Again, there's no judgment here on my side. I'm just confused. I'm at that age when someone tells me I am pregnant and I literally don't know how to react anymore. My instinct reaction is, oh shit, what do we do? But at this point in my life, I also should start saying congratulations. It is just mind-boggling. So I naturally try to escape this by going online, and everyone is posting pictures of their babies, announcing their pregnancy, their engagement, or whatever. Hello? Social media is for pictures of puppies, easy recipes, and stupid jokes. I kid you not. Okay, no pun intended using the word kid. I went on Instagram the other day, and the first 4 posts I saw were of people I grew up with and their babies. I've never closed the app this fast. I don't know, man. My more pressing issues are, for example, that Taylor released an album yesterday. You know what? Let's talk about it for a second. Taylor Swift, the productive queen she is, released a 2-hour-long album with 31 songs in it. Talk about over-delivering. So, 31 songs, the Tortured Poets Department. What a piece of work. I started listening to it in the morning, and I continued in the evening. And let me just walk you through my roller coaster of an experience while listening to that album. First of all, when she first announced the track list, I cannot tell you how excited I was to see that Post Malone is on the album. He is one of my favorite musicians, and I'm so happy to see him get the recognition he deserves. So I'm really, really glad that they collaborated. When Taylor actually announced the album, just by hearing the title, I knew it was going to be soul-crushing. And I actually did not want to listen to it because I've been in a good mental space despite everything you hear in the last episodes. And I didn't need anything to get me out of this mentality that I'm currently in. I don't know what your relationship with music is, but mine is definitely unhealthy at times. Music is just so important to me. It resonates with me on such a deep level, and I really live through the lyrics and take them so by heart. And let me just say that God didn't give me the talent to sing because he knew I would be all-powerful. So you have him to thank, because otherwise I would be an absolute threat to society if I could sing. So yeah, I take the lyrics by heart, and naturally, they affect my mood. So since the beginning of 2024, I've been focusing on listening purposefully to more upbeat songs because I just don't have it in me to be sad right now. I don't have the time, I don't have the energy. And that is also the biggest reason I still haven't listened to Conan Gray's new album. My friend says that it's not the typical gut-wrenching Conan experience, but I don't trust her. I think she's conspiring with him to make me sad. And Conan, I love you. I love your music. I think you're an amazing performer, an amazing lyricist, but I just cannot mentally handle it right now. Give me some time. I'm sure I will go through something and I will turn to you. Wait, no, that is so stupid of me. I shouldn't manifest sadness. Anyways, so yeah, I've been avoiding melancholic songs, and I really did not want to listen to the Tortured Poets Department. Also, I'm a Reputation girly in my core, and I'm not ready to leave that era behind. Oh god, when she releases Reputation Taylor's version, I am going to be so unbearable. I'm going to the Era store this summer, and I'm so excited I want to make a Reputation-inspired outfit. Going off topic again, very me. Where was I? Yeah, avoiding the sadness of the album like the plague. But yesterday, when the album dropped, the ambiance of the day was what I would imagine the Tortured Poets Department required. The air was just so heavy. It was raining, the sky was so gray, and the wind was winding. So I decided to give it a listen. All I could think of throughout the entire listening process is how I wish that album had come out a year and a half ago when I was going through the worst heartbreak of my life to date. It would have really helped me. It verbalized emotions, which I've been trying to for a year and a half, but have been unable to do so. So every time I would hear something which resonated with me, I would send it to the group chat with the message, "That's me. That's what I went through. That's my literal autobiography. So even though I'm sad I didn't have this album back then, because it would have helped me with the healing process and would have made me realize that what I'm going through is completely normal and I'm not crazy, I am still happy that I will have it for future heartbreaks. Damn, again, manifesting pain. Oh God. So after every song, I had to pause to process what I had just heard because it was a lot. I'm not even going to talk about when love of my life turned out to be loss of my life. However, I still need to sit down and actually read the lyrics because they're actual poetry. And I just find it very difficult to understand words in songs if I had not seen them written down previously. I don't know if that happens to you too. It is the same with movies. Doesn't matter that I speak English, I need subtitles. Otherwise, I'm unable to hear, I'm unable to understand. That's why I don't love going to the cinema in the Netherlands, because the subtitles are always in Dutch naturally. And I need to focus on listening, which means I have no snacks because I would be able to hear myself chew and won't be able to focus on the plot. And that's just not the right cinema experience. So it's the same with music and lyrics. I need to see the lyrics written out in order to actually understand what's going on, because otherwise it's just gibberish in my head. What I think also contributed to my partial confusion at times is that in order to avoid actually feeling my feelings, I started deep cleaning my room while listening, because if I had just sat and listened, I would have offed myself. What I think is really interesting is the fact that I only cried during 2 songs, which out of 31 for Taylor Swift, I think is a pretty good score. The first one that broke me was I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. And it is ironic because if you listen to it, it is one of the more upbeat songs on the album. But the lyrics is so sad. And it just brought me back to times that I would rather leave behind, if I'm being honest. And the other one that just broke me in millions of pieces was The Prophecy. And listening to The Prophecy was such a beautiful experience. I was fully in my head, as per usual. You know, when you're listening to a song and you imagine that you're in a music video or a movie and you're the protagonist and that's just the soundtrack of the scene. Wait, is that normal or does that mean I'm schizophrenic? Nah, I'm good. So I'm listening to The Prophecy, reflecting on the lyrics, and then I look outside through my window, which is a reference to another song of the album. And what I see is that the trees are fighting for their life because of the wind, and the ducks in the lake in front of my place are barely holding it together. But there it was, in the sky, in the gray, overcast, gloomy sky, a faint rainbow. I know the whole thing probably sounds like such an over-exaggeration to the mentally stable mind, but I honestly felt like this rainbow was a sign and that the prophecy will be changed. There is hope. I don't know, man. I love music. I love living in music, breathing through music. So all that to say to my housemates, I hope you like the new Taylor album because you will be listening to it a lot. I'm just unable to listen to music if I'm not blasting it, which future me will probably hate me about, because of the potential hearing problems, but who needs to hear anyways? So before I turned on the album, my plans were to start writing my thesis after listening. I was hoping that I'd be creatively inspired to write, because even though the blog just started, I'm somehow already behind. Very bold of me to assume that I'd be able to function after listening to this album. So I went outside on my hot girl walk to touch some grass because I was an emotional wreck. I spent the evening listening to Lover and Reputation, trying to get myself into a better headspace and erase the damage that the bolter had done. All was good until when I got home, I went on Instagram. I know, famous last words. And I saw this guy mocking Taylor Swift and Swifties. It got me so mad because that's spreading such unnecessary hate. Nobody's forcing you to listen to her music or follow her. Block her on social media. Don't play her music on the streaming platforms. Do whatever it is to distance yourself from her content if you dislike it so much. But don't make fun of people for enjoying something. And that's just not regarding only Taylor Swift. It's applicable all throughout. Let people experience joy without having to chime in with your hatred. I will never understand why people feel the need to spread hatred online. Just move on with your day. Don't you have more important things to do? I promise you that you will be able to survive another day and that the world will not go into an apocalyptic state if you kept your opinion to yourself. Why spread hate? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. There is already so much negativity in our lives. Are mean comments really that essential that they need to be shared at all costs? Be a hater. Drench yourself in negativity if you so desire, but do it silently. Why bring down other people for enjoying something? Let them live. And that content he had reposted really reminded me of my actual really toxic relationship I personally have with Taylor in particular. I have so much internalized misogyny when it comes to her music. And the misogyny is not targeted towards her, it's targeted towards me. I need to say this before I even try to explain what I mean. I don't know if anything I'm about to say will actually make any sense, but I will try to put it into words and hope that you get what I mean. So, for the longest time, I would purposefully not listen to Taylor's music, even though I enjoyed it. I think her penmanship is beautiful. And me avoiding it wasn't rooted in the fact that she was getting so much hate, because, let's be real, at a certain point in time, she was one of the most hated celebrities, and opinions were so divided, it was just toxic and spread so much hatred and misogyny. And the people around me, my social circle, which consisted predominantly of guys, and this is not me trying to make it a gendered problem, but gender naturally played a role in the development of the events. So my social circle was very much on the we hate Taylor Swift train, and I felt like I should hide the fact that I was liking her music. It wasn't so much about what people thought about Taylor. It was more about what would people think of me. The same thing actually applies for Harry Styles. People in high school would straight up mock me for liking his music. And as much as I tried not to let it get to me, it was difficult. At times, I would project other people's opinions on myself, and that deprived me of listening to music I enjoy. It was self-inflicted, but not really, but still, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But you know what? I am tired of this. I cannot do this anymore. It's not, and it never was, that serious. I cannot let other people's opinions and self-projections define what I like and what I don't like. I cannot let them define what I do and what I don't do. There is nothing shameful in liking pop music or liking mainstream stuff. They're mainstream for a reason. And hating on them doesn't make you better. So, to everyone who's ever made me feel bad about feeling passionate for something or enjoying something, get a life. And that brings me actually to what I wanted to reflect on lastly today. Dirty Martini is now officially a month old. Actually, it's been a bit more than a month, but anyways, I promise not to be like those people who say, my baby is 52 months old today. But this is quite a monumental moment for me, and I want to share with you what the experience for me has been so far. And I know it's only been a month, what could have happened, but still, I came to very significant realizations in that month. There are a few reasons behind this 1 month being so significant for me. First of all, I proved to myself that I can actually do it. If you listen to the first episode, you know that podcasting was something that I had been thinking of for forever, and now actually doing it is so surreal. But it's not just that I can do it, because deep down, I didn't actually really question my ability to do it. And by it, I mean record or edit or publish. I'm a yapper, so just give me a platform and I will talk. What is more significant is the fact that I did it and I'm still doing it despite being anxious about what it could mean. Me, 1 year ago, could never. There is no point in lying to you. I did question my decision of starting this podcast even after starting it. And sometimes there are some thoughts, some intrusive thoughts, which still make me question it. I felt initially consumed by the whole "what would people think" narrative. And I honestly thought I would be embarrassed, anxious, and cringeworthy for trying this out. I thought people would make fun of me, and I would be lying if I said I didn't think about deleting the first episode the second I posted it. And I'm actually so grateful that I didn't. What other people think does not matter. What other people think is none of my business. What other people think of me is not me. It is just a projection. Even if they find me embarrassing or cringy, it doesn't matter. Because I am proud of what I'm producing. And I'm proud of the way it is making me feel. my closest people, who are the only people I care about really, have been super supportive and have been making me feel like what I have to say is interesting and important. And I will be honest with you, that reassurance that they're giving me is a big reason of why I am pushing forward. Also, they have been giving me constructive criticism, which I so appreciate. Let's not forget that I'm still learning how to do this, and the way I have produced the first 2 episodes, for instance, has nothing to do with my approach now. And my current approach may be completely different compared to the approach I take next week. I'm still testing the waters, and I feel lucky that I have people who I can turn to when I need help. I just love them. I love you guys. I know that they care when they want me to be the best I can be. I am not getting offended by their feedback if it's not positive. I actually welcome it. I think it's important to surround ourselves with people who will tell us the truth, even if it means we won't necessarily like to hear it. I am so happy that they feel comfortable enough to tell me the truth, to tell me where my weaknesses are and how I could potentially turn them into strengths. I'm constantly striving to make better podcast episodes, to improve the content, to improve its sound, to improve my presence within the space, to make myself and everyone feel more comfortable. And not to be cocky or anything, but I think I'm on the right track to achieving it. And I actually think that those improvements are already quite tangible. If you go back to episode 1 or 2, you can definitely sense the difference. In that 1 month, I got more comfortable in front of the recorder. A big reason for this is that I realized that this is genuinely something I enjoy doing. Podcasting is genuinely something I'm so passionate about. Every week, I look forward to recording, to editing, to posting, to promoting. Creating this space has been so overwhelming in the best possible way. I'm learning so much about the process of media creation, which is really cool and really fascinating. I went into podcasting without much of an idea about the labor that goes into it. I had no clue how to approach it, how to actually do it, or what to talk about even. I just knew that I wanted to try it out. In that 1 month, apart from getting a taste of this, because let's be real, what I've done so far is so minuscule, but it still matters. So yeah, apart from learning about podcasting, I learned so much about myself. And it is stuff I wouldn't have been able to learn about myself had Dirty Martini not existed. And it just makes me feel so happy and fulfilled. Dirty Martini is giving me purpose and is at the same time keeping me in check, keeping me grounded, and I'm enjoying every second of it. However, I don't want to sugarcoat it. There have been stressful moments, especially in the what am I going to talk about department. I don't want to put any pressure on myself in the process of creating because I don't want to lose the joy of creating, but I also want to stay consistent and try and post once a week. There are days when I have so much to say and others when my head is fully empty. I am still trying to navigate this dynamic and let myself explore podcasting, let myself learn and enjoy. I don't want to stress about it, but I do stress about it because I care. It's all part of the process and I'm dedicated to work on it because I have fully fallen in love with the process. It is filling me with so much joy, and I genuinely feel so proud of the content I'm producing. It is content I would gladly consume myself as a listener, and as long as I'm making something I am personally proud of, I think I'm doing something right. Also, if you did listen to episode 1, you may remember that I said I'd most likely be my top listener. So considering this, and considering what I just said, I think it's really ironic that I actually don't ever listen to my episodes once I publish them. But that doesn't really matter. Now, what is the takeaway from all of this? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe go out and try new things. If you've ever wondered if you should create an online presence, let this be your sign to do it. Create that blog, record a podcast, record a YouTube video, start posting on Instagram or TikTok, or whatever it is you've been thinking of doing, even if it's outside of social media. Creating your own space feels daunting at first, but in the end, it proves to be so rewarding. And again, it's been only a month, and I already feel like this. So go out and try new things. What is the worst that could happen? You realize that you don't like it and then stop? Fine. Or what? You feel embarrassed because of it? Embarrassment is a choice, and we are all going to die, and none of this will matter. So go out and explore. At least you tried something, it didn't work out, and now you know more about your interests and yourself. It's experience under the belt. It's not an what if, but now what? And those are always so much more fun. On the other end of the spectrum, you could end up loving it so much and just finding a new hobby. The way I see it, it's a win-win situation. So, what I'd like to say to conclude this episode is that there is so much love and care I invest in this space, and seeing it simply exist is filling me with such warmth that I feel like I'm sometimes unable to contain myself. I might be even a bit annoying to be around since I started the podcast, because I'm constantly writing down ideas for future topics, and when something happens, I'm like, ooh, I need to say this on Dirty Martini. But I honestly live and breathe this podcast. I feel so passionate about it. In 1 month, it has already taught me so much, and I just cannot wait to see what I create out of this space in the future. I honestly regret not starting it sooner, but I'd rather regret starting it later than never starting it at all. And if you've decided to join me on this journey, thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me your time. I don't take it for granted, and I don't take you for granted. So here's to many more yaps shared together. Wow, that was far more emotional than I expected it to be. I don't know where that came from, but watch me not believing any of this in 2 weeks and actually never going back to recording. Oh well, whatever happens, happens. Can't be too focused on the future and the results, because I will miss the pleasure from the process, from the failure, and from the success. But until I figure this part out, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for listening. Have a lovely day. Bye!